Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. Whether you're tuning in from Los Angeles or anywhere around the world, if you ride or die with a purple and gold, you're exactly where you need to be. Because today we're diving into a story that, at first glance, might seem like just a minor roster adjustment. But when you dig deeper, when you really start connecting the dots and listening to the whispers around the league, it becomes clear that this decision could have major implications for the Lakers. Not just this postseason, but for the next few years. So let's break this down because this is about more than just a player being added or left off a playoff roster. This is about the direction the Lakers are heading, the types of players they're prioritizing, and the quiet battles being fought behind the scenes, the kind that don't make the front page of ESPN, but absolutely matter when it comes to building a sustainable contender. The Los Angeles Lakers have officially chosen to keep veteran center Alex Len on their playoff roster for the 2024-25 postseason. That means Len will be available for the first-round matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team stacked with frontcourt talent in Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns. It's a logical move when you think short-term. Len brings size, experience, and he's already been part of the locker room dynamics since joining. But here's where it gets interesting. The decision to go with Len meant that both Trey Jemison and Koloko were left off the playoff roster entirely. Not just benched, ineligible. Why? Because both players were signed on two-way contracts, and under current NBA rules, two-way players are not permitted to participate in the playoffs unless their contracts are converted to standard NBA deals before the roster deadline. So what the Lakers effectively said here was, we're going with experience over upside for now. But when you look at what this decision means for the future, it opens up a whole new conversation. Let's start with Trey Jemison. A 25-year-old 6'10" center with an incredible motor, Jemison joined the Lakers mid-season after starting the year on a two-way deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. His raw numbers this season don't scream future star. He averaged 2.6 points and 2.8 rebounds in 22 appearances for the Lakers, but numbers alone don't tell the story. What stood out with Jemison was his physicality, his willingness to bang inside, and the hustle he showed every time he got on the court. You could tell the guy was hungry. And that kind of energy, that's not something you can coach. That's something you either have or you don't. And the Lakers seem to recognize that. Because while Koloko's two-way contract has expired, making him an unrestricted free agent, free to sign with any team that'll have him, Jemison is already locked in for next season. He's under contract on a two-way deal, which gives the Lakers significant flexibility going into the offseason. They can keep him as a two-way player. They can convert him to a standard deal. Or they can let things play out and use him as a trade chip. That kind of team-friendly control is exactly the type of asset that smart franchises look to accumulate. Jovan Buha of The Athletic recently spoke about this on his podcast, noting they have him on a two-way for next year. Jemison is going to be under contract next year on a two-way. Koloko is an expiring two-way, so Koloko can now go sign a two-way or a roster spot with someone else. He went on to add, Jemison is a cost-controlled, team-friendly contract for next season, where the Lakers can evaluate him this summer and decide whether they want to keep Jemison, convert him, or keep him as a two-way guy. There's some flexibility there. Let's pause for a second on that word, flexibility, because that's what this is really about. The Lakers are positioning themselves to have options. And when you're trying to build around LeBron James, even in year 22, you need options. You need players who can grow into a role, who don't cost you much against the cap, who can step in and provide real minutes when needed. That's what Austin Reeves became. That's what Alex Caruso was. And now the question becomes, could Trey Jemison be next? Now let's contrast that with Koloko. At 24 years old, Koloko was once viewed as a promising rim protector with real defensive upside. He appeared in 37 games this season, averaging 2.4 points and 2.5 rebounds. Like Jemison, his stats aren't eye-popping, but you could see the tools. He's 7 feet 1 inch with a reported 7 feet 5 inches wingspan, and when he's healthy, he can be a real shot-blocking presence around the rim. But Koloko's journey has been hampered by health issues, including lingering respiratory concerns that reportedly kept him out for large stretches last season with Toronto. It's fair to ask, are the Lakers hesitating because of those medical red flags? Or maybe it's something else. Maybe they just believe more in Jemison's long-term potential, or his fit within their culture. Maybe Koloko was always meant to be a short-term experiment, a low-risk flyer that didn't quite pan out. That's the beauty and the pain of two-way deals. They give players a foot in the door, but that door can shut quickly. Now, here's where things start to get really intriguing. What happens this summer? The Lakers have big decisions ahead, especially in the front court. Anthony Davis isn't going anywhere, but what about the backup center rotation? Will Jackson Hayes return? Will they re-sign Lynn? Or are they quietly grooming Jemison to take over that third big man role? Let's imagine a scenario. Jemison crushes it in Summer League. He shows improved footwork, better hands, maybe flashes a little mid-range jumper he's been working on. Suddenly, the Lakers are looking at a 6 feet 10 inches energy guy on a minimum deal who can give them 10 to 15 minutes a night and hold his own defensively. In a league that's always looking for affordable size, that's huge. And remember, Jemison isn't just some random G-leaguer. He played 4 years of college ball. He knows how to work. He's 25, not 19, and figuring things out. He's ready. He just needs the opportunity. Could this be the beginning of one of those classic Laker underdog stories? Could Jemison become the next player to go from two-way anonymity to playoff contributor? We've seen it before. Reeves, Caruso, even Talon Horton-Tucker to a degree. All guys who started on the fringes and ended up playing real roles. And meanwhile, what happens with Koloko? There are already murmurs that a few rebuilding teams might be interested. Portland needs rim protection. San Antonio could be a great developmental fit. Charlotte's front court is wide open. Koloko might not have found his NBA home just yet, but he's got fans around the league. The question is, will the Lakers regret letting him go? Some insiders believe this could be a misstep. That Koloko's shot-blocking potential and defensive timing could flourish under a more patient system. Others think the Lakers saw enough behind closed doors to know he wasn't quite the right fit, physically or mentally, for what they're building. And that's something we, on the outside, may never fully understand. But what's clear right now is that the Lakers have made their choice for now. They've chosen to keep Jemison close, keep developing him, keep watching. And they've let Koloko walk into unrestricted free agency. That decision might not make headlines today. It might not change the outcome of this year's playoffs. But a year from now, 2 years from now, this could be the kind of move that people look back on and say, wow, that's when the Jemison story really began. Or it could be the beginning of another what-if tale where the Lakers had a talent in Koloko, let him go, and watched him blossom somewhere else. That's what makes these decisions so fascinating. They're not just about stats or fit. They're about timing, development, belief, and sometimes just a little bit of luck. But what do you think about all of this? Do you believe the Lakers made the right call by keeping Jemison over Koloko? Do you think either of them has a real future in this league? Or was this always going to be a short stint for both? Personally, I'm really excited about Trey Jemison. I love his attitude, his work ethic, the way he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He reminds me of the kind of blue-collar big that every great team needs. The guy who does the dirty work, grabs the boards, defends without needing touches. If he can develop a little more polish offensively, I could definitely see him carving out a real role here. I'm rooting for him. And for Koloko, I hope he finds a home. He's still young, still has tools, and if he can stay healthy, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him pop somewhere else. He's got too much length and defensive instinct not to at least get another look. And that brings up an important point, continuity. One reason players like Reeves and Caruso flourished in LA wasn't just talent. It was trust. The coaching staff gave them consistent roles, clear expectations, and time to grow. If the Lakers are serious about seeing what they have in Jemison, they'll need to commit to that same process. Not just in Summer League, but in training camp, preseason, and even regular season minutes when matchups allow. It's about patience, something not often associated with a win-now franchise like the Lakers. But maybe this is a sign that the Lakers are evolving. With LeBron and AD still anchoring the team, the window to contend is clearly now. But smart organizations find ways to do both, compete in the present while developing for the future. Jemison might not be the headline-grabbing acquisition fans are dreaming about, but he could be the kind of under-the-radar investment that pays off when it matters most. And then there's the cap situation. The new CBA makes it harder than ever to build around 2 stars without hitting punitive tax penalties. That means young, affordable players like Jemison are more valuable than ever. If he can become even a reliable backup big, he could save the Lakers millions in cap space while providing meaningful minutes, and that's not something to take lightly in this new financial climate. You also have to think about the ripple effect. If Jemison shows he can hold down 10 to 15 minutes a night, that frees up the front office to use their mid-level exception or veteran minimum deals elsewhere, maybe on a shooter, a perimeter defender, or another playmaker. Suddenly, one internal development opens the door to 2 or 3 other roster upgrades. That's how championship rosters are built, not just through blockbuster trades, but through maximizing every inch of the bench. Speaking of maximizing, let's not ignore what Len's presence means in all this. He's the security blanket, a big body who knows the game, doesn't make mistakes, and can be trusted in specific matchups. But let's be real, he's not a long-term solution. He's a short-term insurance policy. If Jemison progresses the way the Lakers hope, Len could be gone as early as next season, and Jemison could be walking through that open door. And look, we haven't even gotten into the possibility of injuries. As much as we don't like to talk about it, depth matters most when guys go down. If AD misses time, if Hayes walks, if Len struggles, someone like Jemison becomes more than just a developmental project. He becomes a necessity. That's the harsh truth of the NBA season. It's long, it's grueling, and you need those unsung heroes ready to step in at a moment's notice. So what does success actually look like for Jemison? It's not about becoming a 20-10 guy. It's about playing smart, staying ready, making the right reads defensively, setting solid screens, and crashing the glass. If he can do that consistently, he's got a place in this league, and maybe even a place in this Lakers rotation. And as for Koloko, keep an eye on him. He might not be done with his NBA story just yet. If he lands on a rebuilding team that's willing to give him real minutes and the freedom to play through mistakes, he could absolutely develop into the rim-protecting, lob-catching big that so many teams are looking for. He just might need a little more time, a little more patience, and the right fit. Let's not forget how many players take off once they're put in the right system. Think about Isaiah Hartenstein. He bounced around the league before finding his groove in New York. Or even someone like Bismack Biyombo, who had multiple revivals. Koloko has that kind of potential. If he can stay healthy and locked in mentally, don't be shocked if we see him starting games a year from now. This is why roster construction is so fascinating. Every player decision, no matter how small it seems, ripples out across seasons. It affects development plans, cap sheets, rotations, even draft strategy. Choosing Jemison over Koloko isn't just a short-term move. It's a statement about where the Lakers want to go and how they plan to get there. And that journey is going to be full of pivots. Injuries, trades, coaching changes, cap shifts. Nothing stays still in the NBA for long. But by holding on to Jemison, the Lakers have given themselves a little more control over that uncertainty. It's a move that shows foresight, even if it doesn't spark headlines. So now the real work begins. Summer League, training camp, preseason minutes, and maybe, just maybe, a chance to crack the rotation next season. It's not going to be easy for Jemison. It never is for players in his position. But the opportunity is there. The path is there. And now it's up to him to walk it. That hunger can be the difference maker. We've seen time and again how players with something to prove find ways to break through. It's the edge, the grit, the mindset. Jemison plays like he knows nothing is promised, and that's exactly the mentality you want in a developmental big. Someone who dives on the floor in garbage time. Someone who doesn't take a single rep in practice for granted. That energy can be infectious. It sets a tone. And let's not forget the leadership on this roster. Having veterans like LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the building provides an invaluable learning environment. Jemison has the chance to absorb knowledge from 2 of the game's best, one of the greatest ever in LeBron, and arguably the most versatile big in the league in AD. Those film sessions, those walkthroughs, those quiet moments in practice, they can be transformative for a young player willing to soak it all in. In many ways, the Lakers are betting on character as much as talent. They've seen Jemison up close, the way he prepares, the way he listens, the way he responds to coaching. That's what earns you a second year on a 2-way deal. That's what puts you in the conversation when roster spots open up. Jemison may not be the most polished prospect, but he checks a lot of boxes that teams look for when building out the back end of their bench. And we've seen this blueprint succeed before. Look at what Miami has done with undrafted bigs like Omer Yurtseven, or the way Boston developed Luke Kornet into a steady rotational piece. These guys weren't lottery picks. They weren't hyped out of college. But they worked, they stayed ready, and they carved out a place. Jemison has every opportunity to follow that path, and maybe even exceed it. From a stylistic standpoint, Jemison fits what Darvin Ham likes to do. He's mobile, he can switch a little, and he brings physicality to the paint. He's not going to space the floor, but in bench units that focus on defense and energy, he makes sense. Think about those second quarters when the Lakers want to buy AD some rest. That's when someone like Jemison could shine. Just keep the defense tight, finish around the rim, and keep the energy up. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. Are you Team Jemison or Team Koloko? Or do you think both guys could find success, just not in LA? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. We're here with you every step of the way through the playoffs, off-season moves, trade rumors, summer league, everything Lakers. Stay locked in, and as always, let's go Lakers.